Hoi hoi, it's Louis again, and for this video, we are going to talk about my September 2026 TBR with the help of the Alphabet TBR game. Hurrah! So, in August 2026, I decided to pause because I wanted to finish, my July 2026 TBR, which I'm still in the middle of. Okay, at least there's a book there that I want to finish, which is World Without End by Ken Follett. And as of the time that I'm filming this one, I still have yet to finish it. So I decided to take a pause and just relax with my reading. So hopefully I get to finish that one and really enjoy it as well. So yeah, we're going to be talking about it, and in the next clip I'm going to be talking about how the rules, or what are the rules of my Alphabet TBR game to determine my September 2026 TBR. So the Alphabet TBR game is like a TBR video game which will determine, the books that I'll be reading for a certain month. So there are times that I would pick 3 to 4 books per month, depending on my assessment of how busy I am. And for September, I'm going to pick 3. Now, the Alphabet TBR game is composed of 26 letters from the English alphabet, and each alphabet has a corresponding prompt. So like I said, every TBR game, I'm going to pick a certain number of pile, and because I still sense that I'm kind of busy, I'm still going with 3. So I will be picking 3 prompts, okay, or rather 3 letters, and each letter has a corresponding prompt, and I have to look for a book that matches that prompt. So here are some of the rules that I would put every now and then in terms of then kind of a little bit of a penalty, if that makes sense. So if I happen to pick letters that are next to each other consecutively, so say I pick letter A, and then I pick letter B, or I pick letter Z and then I pick letter Y, I'm going to have to add another pick or prompt. I'm going to waive for this month, if ever, that I pick a prompt that I picked in July. So I'm going to be waiving adding a prompt to that. So yeah, hopefully the rules are clear. But before we get into the TBR game itself, let us revisit how I did in July 2026. So for letter C, which is nature on the cover, I chose Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova, and I read this. For letter L, which stands for Lalaki Books, I chose World Without End by Ken Follett, and as I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm still currently in the middle of it, and I hope that I get to finish it in August 2026. For letter B, which is a blindfold pick, my blindfold self chose Not Here to Be Liked by Michelle Quash, and I did not read this. I haven't got into it, and hopefully one day I would. And for letter M, which is mother pick, my mom chose 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, and I read this. And in July I also finished It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Pick number 1. Letter L. Why, oh why, oh why. This is the 3rd consecutive game and the 4th game in 2026 that we picked this letter. There's 26 letters in the alphabet, and I keep on getting this one. It really makes me want to drive, I guess, in getting into more genres that I probably don't gravitate to, I guess. But some of these genres that fall into this like prompt actually genres that I already read. So letter L is Le book, and I chose Born Legacy by what's his name again? Eric Van Lusbader. Is that how you pronounce his name? Yes. And this is some kind of like, basically it does give like Jude vibes, you know what I mean? Basically like Lache books, there are like, I think I mentioned like some of the genres that fall to it in like my other videos and my other Alphabet TBR game videos where it's high fantasy, epic fantasy, or sci-fi, whether it's YA or like adult. You have some like adult thrillers and what else? Some adult horror as well. Well, this is like an adult thriller, adult mystery, and like kind of espionage, as I can see in Goodreads. So it kind of like fits to that. Like they give like alpha vibes, these books. That's why I created this prompt so that fellow dudes, especially the alpha ones, if you're looking for books that you think are like more suited for your alpha taste, oh, I got tongue-tied there for a minute. If you're finding books that suits to your alpha taste, then here's the prompt. You just have to look forward to my like books that I read for the Lalache books prompt in order for you to discover more. Because reading is for any genders. So yeah. So this is like the continuation of like the Born series. Now I promised myself that I will stop reading the series after I've read all Eric Van Lusbader's or Lusbader's. Feel free to comment down below the correct pronunciation, okay? Lusbader's books in like the Born series, because this was originally written by Robert Ludlum and posthumously, did I pronounce that correctly? Anyway, it was then written by, it was written by Eric Van Lusbader afterwards. So yeah, I know, as far as I know, there are scenes here that were set in the Philippines. I think this was like the film adaptation where it was literally shot like in some of the cities in Manila. So we'll see how it will spark, emotions out of my brain. I gotta remember, and you folks need to remember, that this is a work of fiction. Y'all, okay? Remember that. Pick number 2. Letter G. Letter G is general fiction, and I chose Vanishing Acts by Jodi Picoult. Now, it's been years since I've been wanting to read a book by Jodi Picoult, ever since those times when I discovered Danielle Steele. Like her books, like her bibliography screams like Danielle Steele, so I've kind of like wanted to pick up, Jodi Picoult's books, like specifically like her novels. And they have been in my radar for years now, and finally I got to start with one of her books. I'm definitely excited though, and yeah, it's about time. So yeah, I was just like talking about this right now reminds me of those days where I got to check out Danielle Steele's bibliography and like I check out like similar authors to her, and I think like Jodi Picoult, I would see like her bookstores being like in the same sections in the bookstores that I visit. So yeah, I'm definitely excited, for me to read Vanishing Acts by Jodi Picoult. Pick number 3. Letter A. Letter A is a book that doesn't start with an a or an or the or any of the English articles. Now, I chose Crossfire by Fonda Lee. Now I'm not sure if I also chose EXO for this prompt. But yeah, I want to have like an audiobook to listen to in September 2026. And basically, this is a continuation of EXO. Now, if you haven't read EXO, it follows a story where aliens took over the world, and like there are like people that are called like sapiens, which is like a human like terrorist or rebel group, you know. So it's kind of interesting how it is a bit relevant, I guess, today. It's going to make you think about certain things that are happening right now in our society, you know, with emerging technologies, and yeah, how it, I guess, there are like certain parallelisms. When I was listening to it with my Everrun audiobook, I couldn't help but have some parallelisms to like the technology advancements, the emerging technologies that are happening, and how it is kind of like, you know, parallel to like the story that's happening in EXO. You know, it's kind of like, in this case, it's just that aliens took over. So, yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to listen to Crossfire by Fonda Lee, who, by the way, Fonda Lee is more popular with the Greenbone Saga trilogy, also known like the Jade City, Jade War, Jade Legacy books. So, those are the books that I plan to read in September 2026. Feel free to comment down below if you have like your own September 2026 TBR or any book that you want to read or plan to read or maybe read in September 2026. Honestly, if you don't want to call it to be read like videos, you can call it like maybe read or want to read. Still kind of is same essence. And if you don't do like what you call this TBRs, you don't have TBR piles, you're more of a mood reader, you know, just tell me like randomly, what is that one book that came into your mind, like while you're typing or watching this video? Like, what is that one book that you want to read that came into your mind, or basically just came into your mind, regardless whether you want to read it or not? So yeah, and maybe you can also share if you've acquired any books recently. Feel free to comment them down below. And if you've made it this far, leave like a kiwi fruit emoji. If you folks like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. And also put down links and handles of my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there and support me there as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all.